Okay, so here's my explanation video for my product. For my product, I decided to do a poster because technology just isn't for me, which I've told you like 1,000 times, but that's okay. So my inquiry question was, what are the factors that increase the risk of suicide for teens? So I'm going to start down here and explain my personal experience so you can get a feel on why I decided to do this question. So my personal experience was this year in January, my sister Caitlin did commit suicide. She was only 17, and I wanted to do this because I really wanted to look more into why teenagers are doing this, why teenagers feel that they have no way out except to die. And I really wanted to know how to prevent it, where you can go if you know someone or think you know someone who is getting depressed really bad or just mild depression, suicidal, even suicidal thoughts, or just someone who you think needs to vent a little bit. So when I was doing my research, there was so much. It was really hard to pinpoint like what is the major things, but I split up into 3 categories. So the first one I'm going to start with is mental health. So what is mental health? Mental health is keeping all the aspects in your life balanced, which includes social, physical, spiritual, economic, and mental. I put some pictures just to represent. So the reason these aspects increase the risk of suicide in teens is because if one of these aspects goes off balance in a teenager, they've never experienced this before, or if they have, it's going to be a little bit more drastic now because of hormones and growing up. So when one of these one of these aspects goes off balance, they're gonna think that like something's wrong with them. It can be from anything pretty much. Just one goes off balance and they get stressed and they're gonna like kind of feel a little weird that things aren't working properly in their brain. They're gonna really just want to find a way to get it to go away, and for some teenagers they find something that makes it go back up so all the aspects are at par. But for some teenagers it can lead into serious depression, and once they get this far it can be really hard to get out of it, and they don't know what to do. They think they're weird. They don't want to seek help because first of all, no teenager likes to talk to people about this because it's something really personal, and it can get pretty bad, and if it's not properly dealt with, it can lead to suicide. I also put down some disorders that are common in teens for suicidal thoughts and attempts. There's factitious disorder, and then there's personality disorder and psychosis. So my second category for a factor that increases the risk of suicide would be bullying/cyberbullying. So there was a survey in 2007 for girls and boys grades 9 to 12 to getting asked about being victims and bullies in and outside of school. So what the survey said is that kids are bullied more in school than outside of school. Boys are more likely to be bullied inside of school, and girls and boys are equally bullied outside of school. The reason this increased suicide is because when kids are constantly bullied, they slowly start to believe that the things being said about them are true. And once you have this stuck in your brain, it's very hard to believe that it isn't. When someone says negative stuff to a teenager, they 100% take in the negative, and when someone compliments them, they basically block it out. So when they're bullied, it slowly starts to just get in their brain that this is how people see them, this is how they are. Then they get scared to be themselves. They get scared to say the wrong thing because they feel like people are going to bully them on whatever they do. And it also increases the risk for the bullies as well, because usually bullies, they have inner problems with themselves, or something is wrong in their life, or they usually have a rough life at home, and they decide to take out whatever's happening with them on other people, and slowly it becomes a habit. But once it becomes too much, they feel they have no way out of this habit. Next would be cyberbullying. So cyberbullying is the most popular way to bully someone now, and I think it's because teens don't want to have the confrontation because they can just say anything they want to anyone without them even having to know them. It provides opportunity for bullying outside of school that doesn't need that face-to-face, right? So it can be someone you don't even know, and you can just say anything to them that you want. It makes them feel very, very vulnerable because anyone can say anything to you. Teens feel like it's ruining aspects of their lives because they can't like what they like because someone else will say something rude to them about it. It increases suicide because it makes them feel that they have no way to escape being bullied. Because if you're bullied at school, you can come home and you get this moment of relief because you're at home, you're at your house where everyone respects and loves you. But if you go on social media, you're still going to get that same bullied. And these kids truly feel that they have no way out. When teens are bullied over and over again online, it is there forever. Like, even if it's deleted, someone will always have it. Someone can screenshot it now. Someone can save it. They can share it so other people can see it. It's always there, and they will just start to believe it's true. Same as with in person now. It's the exact same for people. The next factor that I think increases it is family structure. This was on every book, every website I looked at. It was usually the top or third at the minimum thing that increases suicide. So I jotted down a bunch of points that in family structure, like what can lead to it. So the first thing is single parent families are significantly more at risk than two parent families. It's because there's only one parent there to give them all the rules, and if that one parent is like if you are fighting with that one, you don't get along, you have no one else to go to because it's just you and that parent. Peer pressure from parents to be something they aren't, for example, more like other siblings or more like someone in social media, someone in a show they like, that really gets to kids because they feel like they aren't meeting the expectation that their parents who love them the most out of everyone in the world want them to be. Parents that are irresponsible is a big one because these kids have no guidelines, nothing. If a parent's out all the time, the kid can do what they want. There's no one there looking after them, and they feel lonely. They have nothing to do with themselves. Parents with a history of addiction. So if these parents have a history of addiction, it could be from genetics, or the kid just might be more like vulnerable to it, and then that can get them, like drugs, alcohol can get them more depressed. Parents that argue a lot can definitely lead to it because if your parents are arguing a lot, these kids feel that they only have negativity in their lives. There's nothing positive for them. And then it's all negativity, and then their positivity level, happiness level is going down. Divorce can be a big one for teens because the two people that are supposed to be together forever in your life just split up, and there's this constant battle of who do you go with, whose side are you on, like who's in the wrong, what do you do, all this stuff, and they don't know how to deal with it. And then also a lot of siblings was a really common one because, again, with the peer pressure from parents meeting that standard, so if there's a lot of siblings, they're trying to compete to be like favorited or like one that the parents think is special. Then if they aren't, it makes them feel really low about themselves. And then just over here I put like if you need help section. So if you know someone or you think you know someone or even yourself maybe like is like depressed or you're having suicidal thoughts, so you can go to St. Leonard's. It's 133 Elgin Street. They offer a 24-hour crisis line and mobile crisis line, so you can call and talk to them, or if it's an emergency, they'll come to you or whoever you think needs help. There's Kids Help Phone, which is 1-800-668-6868. They offer a free crisis line 24/7. It's anonymous and confidential if you don't want to share what's going on with someone, like they don't want to know, like you don't want them to know who you are, sorry. And they also offer a live chat with a counselor if you don't want to talk on the phone. Then there's the Brantford General Hospital, which they offer millions and millions of programs. The ones I thought were the best were the crisis response, emergency mental health, crisis counseling, and for anxiety, they provide anxiety education support. And then there's the Canadian Mental Health Association, which they provide counseling, and I'm sure they also provide like in office counseling too. And then also right here is the Six Nation Crisis Service. So just to wrap it up, the 3 factors I think that increase the risk of suicide in teens would be mental health, bullying or cyberbullying, and family structure. And yeah, all right, thank you.